that will ensure its health and vitality for generations to come. Earth Day is not just a day, it's a reminder of our year-round responsibility to our environment. I request our chairperson to escort the guests, Honorable Vice Chancellor Professor P.L. Dharma and our guest speaker Professor Balakrishna from Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal, to the stage. I request our department's women staff to sing the prayer song.
ಜೋಗದ ಸಿರಿ ಬೆಳಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ತುಂಗೆಯ ತೆನೆ ಬಳುಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಸಹ್ಯಾದ್ರಿಯ ಲೋಹದ ದಿರವು ತುಂಗದ ನಿಲುಕಿನಲ್ಲಿ ನಿತ್ಯ ಹರಿದ್ವರ್ಣವನದ ತೇಗ ಗಂಧ ತರುಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ತಾಯೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ನಿನಗೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ತಾಯೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಇತಿಹಾಸದ ಹಿಮದಲ್ಲಿನ ಸಿಂಹಾಸನ ಮಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗತ ಸಾಹಸ ಸಾರುತ್ತಿರುವ ಶಾಸನಗಳ ಸಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಇತಿಹಾಸದ ಹಿಮದಲ್ಲಿನ ಸಿಂಹಾಸನ ಮಾಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಗತ ಸಾಹಸ ಸಾರುತ್ತಿರುವ ಶಾಸನಗಳ ಸಾಲಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಓಲೆಗರಿಯ ಸಿರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಗುಲಗಳ ಭಿತ್ತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ಓಲೆಗರಿಯ ಸಿರಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ದೇಗುಲಗಳ ಭಿತ್ತಿಗಳಲ್ಲಿ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ತಾಯೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ನಿನಗೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ತಾಯೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ಹಲವೆನ್ನದ ಹಿರಿಮೆಯೇ ಕುಲವೆನ್ನದ ಗರಿಮೆಯೇ ಸದ್ವಿಕಾಸಶೀಲ ನುಡಿಯ ಲೋಕಾವೃತ ಸೀಮೆಯೇ ಹಲವೆನ್ನದ ಹಿರಿಮೆಯೇ ಕುಲವೆನ್ನದ ಗರಿಮೆಯೇ ಸದ್ವಿಕಾಸಶೀಲ ನುಡಿಯ ಲೋಕಾವೃತ ಸೀಮೆಯೇ ಈ ವತ್ಸರ ನಿರ್ಮತ್ಸರ ಮನದುದಾರ ಮಹಿಮೆಯೇ ಈ ವತ್ಸರ ನಿರ್ಮತ್ಸರ ಮನದುದಾರ ಮಹಿಮೆಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ತಾಯೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ನಿನಗೆ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ ತಾಯೇ ನಿತ್ಯೋತ್ಸವ. ಧನ್ಯವಾದ.
Now I request our chairperson, Professor B.R. Manjunath, to deliver welcome speech.
A warm welcome to all of you. Today is a very special day for all of us. It is an auspicious day. Why? Because we are living on this earth and depending entirely on this earth. But we don't know what we are doing on this planet. We think of ourselves, but not the future generation. We have to leave something for the future generation. So in this regard, we are organizing this function with the kind permission of our Honorable Vice Chancellor. And also it is an International Earth Day declared by the UN and followed in 193 countries, or 1 billion people campaigning this program. So once again, good morning everybody. Honorable Vice Chancellor of Mangalore University, Professor P.L. Dharma, Advocacy Guest Speaker of today's function, Dr. K. Balakrishna, Professor of Civil Engineering, Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal, our colleagues on the dais, Dr. K. Priya, Assistant Professor of Marine Geology, and also Treasurer of Mangalore University Marine Geology Department Alumni Association, and Dr. K. Priya. Yes. And of the dais, our colleagues, Dr. Um, Nirmala, Dr. S.M. Yamuna, guest faculties, chairpersons of sister departments, students, research fellows, invitees, and chairpersons of geography, and also sister departments, research fellows, and many others following this program through live telecasting, live streaming of this program. I welcome you all for this Earth Day function. Today is most auspicious day, not only because to celebrate this function, I also welcome our alumnus member, Professor Shivanna, for this function. It is not only to celebrate the day, but more than that, we have to campaign and demonstrate support how to mitigate, control the environment. That is most important, because we are 7 billion people, or more than that, 7 billion people. Imagine the amount of people on earth, and we want all facilities, but we have to depend the resources from the earth itself. Whatever resources available, it is very much limited. We have to use it very judiciously, and we have to leave something for the future generation. The most abundant mineral is sand. Now sand is not available in many parts of India. Now we are powdering the rocks, the hillocks on earth's surface, and in future, in another 200 years, there will not be mountains on this earth. Everything the human-made buildings. So we have to think about it, and realizing this, the impact of human beings on the earth, Mother Earth. It was declared in 1970 we have to do some larger environmental campaign, and ultimately it is conceived in 1972 on April 22nd. Every year that International Mother Earth Day should be celebrated, as I told you, not to just for celebration, to protect our mother, and because we are depending the resource on earth, resources of the earth. So it is being celebrated throughout the world, and it is the largest environmental movement. More than 1 billion people participating across 193 countries with specific themes. Today is the 55th anniversary of the International Mother's Earth Day, with the focal theme Planet versus Plastics. You know, the plastic, it is very widely used, it is very cheap, and we will discard it, put it in the garbage. We don't know where it goes ultimately. Plastic is unlike the wood or metals. It loses its strength with respect to time, and finally become pieces, and pieces finally become very fine to nano or picoparticles. It will enter everything in the climate, whatever we eat, food we drink, water we drink, food we eat, and it will accumulate in the human system. Not only human system, in animals also. And animals, poor animals, because we have to worry about animals, they often confuse the plastic as food. Many cattle or even marine organisms, they eat the plastic. So realizing this, the main theme of the 55th anniversary is the plastics versus planet, because it is spoiling the entire planet. So about 450 million tons of plastics produced every year. Of this, only 10% is recycled. 12% is incinerated. That means we will burn. Burning garbage is a very serious issue throughout the world. Yes. And about 78% it is accumulating on the earth in the form of garbage, in the form of contaminant. And it is very light, lighter than water, and it dispersed to the wider region through water, through air. So because of that, the main theme of the 55th anniversary is the plastics, planet versus plastics. So realizing this important day, I discussed with our Honorable Vice Chancellor. He readily agreed and he gave green signal, go ahead, conduct this program. And also I requested him to preside over this function. He readily agreed and has come all the way in spite of busy schedule. I welcome you, sir, on behalf of our department. I request Dr. Nirmala Madam to welcome our Honorable Vice Chancellor with a floral bouquet. So we were thinking whom to invite for this function, and we found our alumnus member, Professor Balakrishna from Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal, who is an expert in environmental contaminants and an international authority on persistent organic pollutants in the environments besides heavy metals and antibiotics in the environment. We consume a lot of antibiotics. We don't know the fate ultimately where it goes. It will again come back through food chain, and again it is affecting the human system. So the strength of antibiotics increase, but still the organisms, they develop the defensive mechanism. So whatever kind of antibiotics we develop, the organisms try to resist. So he is working in that field. So I welcome Professor Balakrishna, and I request our faculty member, Dr. Srimati Nirmala, Srimati Yamuna Madam, to invite Professor Balakrishna. I also invite our sister department Professor Sarojini Madam for this function. I welcome our colleague Dr. Priya, who is also treasurer of our alumni. I request Srimati Dr. Arshada to welcome Dr. Priya Madam. So many people have responded to our invitation, especially people from geography, life sciences. In this regard, I welcome Dr. Dasharatha Angadi, Dr. Taravati Madam, and research fellows of sister department students and also non-teaching staff for this function. And many of our alumni are following through this program through the live telecasting. So I welcome you all and work for the campaigning of the better environment and better health of our mother. So thank you one and all for your presence here. Thank you.
I also welcome our chairman to the celebration of Mother Earth Day. I request Dr. Jitin Chose to provide flower bouquet. I would like to request our Vice Chancellor, guest and chairperson to inaugurate the event by watering the plant to symbolize afforestation. I request Ms. Mariam to introduce our Vice Chancellor to the audience.
Good morning, everyone. I'm very happy to introduce our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.L. Dharma. Professor P.L. Dharma, a professor of political science of Mangalore University, recognized as an excellent teacher and researcher, especially in the field of Constitution of India. He is a good orator and has mastered multilingualism, having expertise in many fields of education, administration, social reform, women's welfare, and development. He always works with a positive attitude. Professor P.L. Dharma obtained his master's degree in 1988 with first rank and PhD in 1994 from Karnataka University. He started his career in Mangalore University in 1988 and has 36 years of teaching experience in the Department of Political Science. His field of activity is not only limited to teaching and research. He served in many administrative posts of the Mangalore University. He served in various capacities as chairman of the department, member of various committees, registrar in charge and registrar evaluation of Mangalore University. And at present, he holds the highest position, the Vice Chancellor of the Mangalore University. Professor Dharma is a recipient of Excellence and Leadership Award in Education for the year 2020 for his outstanding achievements in the field of education, prestigious Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam Rashtriya Puraskar, and recognized as one of the best teachers in 2023 for the noble work done in the interest of students, teachers, and the entire education fraternity. Recently, in March 2024, he has been presented as the best professor in political science for excellence and leadership in education. I'm not able to provide full details of our Honorable Vice Chancellor because of the shortage of the time. Therefore, I request you to browse the university website for the detailed information. Thank you.
Thank you, Mariam. Now I would like to call Rashmi M to introduce our chief guest to the audience. Introduce our chief guest to the audience.
Good morning, everyone. Now I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Dr. Keshava Balakrishna sir, who is currently working as a professor of zoology at the Department of Civil Engineering at MIT Manipal. He obtained a PhD in marine zoology from Mangalore University in 1999. He was also a postdoctoral fellow at Physical Research Laboratory ISRO, Ahmedabad, University of Paul Sabatier, France, visiting scientist at Max Planck Institute for Chemistry at Mainz, Germany, and State University of New York at Albany, USA. He was also a part of the 37th Indian Scientific Expedition to Antarctica in the year 2017-18 and spent 100 days there. He has served as the principal investigator of several government-funded research projects on water pollution, water conservation, climate change, environmental health, and coastal environment. 11 students have completed their PhD under his guidance. He is the recipient of 2 state awards, Dr. Satish Dhawan Young Engineer Award and Best Research Paper Award, both from the Government of Karnataka. Manipal Academy of Higher Education awarded him the Dr. T.M.A. Pai Endowment Chair and the Dr. T.M.A. Pai Gold Medal for the Best Research Paper. He is the coordinator of the Center of Excellence on Smart Coastal Sustainability set up at the Manipal Academy of Higher Education. He has 75 articles published in peer-reviewed scientific journals with 1,800 citations with an Hits index of 20. He has written several popular science articles in Kannada in popular dailies and magazines and delivered talks in Akashvani FM radio. Thank you.
So now I will call this.
As I told you, our Honorable Vice Chancellor is a very busy person. He has come all the way despite of a very busy schedule, and I request him to give his kind remarks about these programs. Sir, over to you, sir.
Zozaji? Second. Thank you. I understand your difficulty. Can you please just, arrange your chairs so that you don't turn and then spoil your neck? ಹಾಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮುಂದೆ ಬನ್ನಿ. ಆಲ್ಮೋಸ್ಟ್ 3 ಗಂಟೆ ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ ಅವ್ರು ನಿಮಗೆ. In the second row also. At least some neck exercise for you. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ. Are you comfortable now? Huh? ಅಲ್ಲಾಂದರೆ ಜಿರಾಫೆ ಥರ ನೀವು ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮದು. Dear young friends, respected Dr. K. Balakrishna, the Professor of Geology, MSc Geology Course Coordinator, Manipal Institute of Technology, and our alumni, I'm so happy to receive you here in Mangalore University. Professor Manjunath, Professor Priya, Professor Shivanna, Angadi Saab, Sarojini, and then all my dear colleagues. I believe most of the students here do not speak Kannada, and most of them are from Kerala. That's why compelled to speak in English only. Let me try a few things and then go, because Professor Balakrishna is invited to speak about Earth and then the Earth Day celebration. When I spoke to the science students on the Science Day, I declared that year afterwards in Mangalore University, these fundamental days, it could be Science Day, Earth Day, or whatever days that we celebrate, it should not be confined to only few departments like this. It should be, ought to be, the celebration of the entire campus. Even if there is a loss of 1 day class, nothing we are going to lose. But next time, Professor Manjunath, please see that this becomes a campus program, where a social science student like me also understand the significance of why protection of environment is very important. It's not just a matter of for this student of science, it is a matter of everybody. It's a matter of not only privilege, it's also a matter of commitment to Mother Earth. So please see that you change your agenda year afterwards, where the Science Day becomes the university program, Earth Day becomes a university program, Water Day becomes university program. Professor Angadi, Water Day becomes university program, as much as the Women's Day becomes already a women's, the university program. It's important that we need to have this culture. When Professor Balakrishna is here, I don't want to get into all kinds of problems as well, but let me raise few questions and then go. My dear young friends, I taught political science. I'm a student of social science. I don't know anything about science, but the facts that Professor Manjunath has produced is highly disturbing. It troubles all of us. Even if we do not know science, at least we know little bit of fundamental science, because we have studied science till SSLC. Afterwards, we almost detached from the science. And that's the most injustice that was done as far as our education system is concerned. Look at the way how we built our relationship here. There is something called a social science department, which deals with only chota-mota problems of the society. which none of you worry. And there is also called a science department, where you deal with all, mega issues concerning the larger earth or whatever. The way we built and then nurtured this culture has kept both science and social science separately. I am denied of understanding what is important in earth today. I'm denied of understanding what is earth, denied of understanding what is water, denied of understanding is what exactly the problems of the plastic menace today. You're also denied of many things that I teach today. But at least programs like this, Professor Manjunath, at least programs like this tries to bring people together so that we understand what we need to do. Most of us, in Mangalore understand that there was absolutely a synthesis between the science and social sciences, not today, not once the university started, but it is thousands of years ago. Our traditions, our worships, our own culture, food habits, you spoke about food habits, is something that never went against the nature. I remember in my place, we all started worshipping trees. We all started worshipping trees. When I came to Mangalore, I understood there is something called Nagabana, where a serpent and a tree was related. I was very thrilled to see. And then I came to know here, cobra was celebrated, cobra was worshipped. And not just a cobra, but also a tree. What a wonderful story. Back in my place, the trees were worshipped. We never seen God, the trees. We have never seen big temples like, Ananta Padmanabha temple, Mangal Devi temple, or the Dharmasthala, whatever temples. We have seen only Bhutasthanas where stone were worshipped. You spoke of the stone where you crush it and then you make a cement or a sand, whatever, where a stone were worshipped. Stones were, displayed as the symbol of God, as my friend says, symbol of, watering, protecting environment. They were all symbolically presented to us. We knew the culture so well, and that's why even to cut a branch of a tree, we were scared. We were very scared. Cobra bartade, havu kaditade, rakshasa bartade, bhuta bartade. This was the story that was given to us, where we never even destroyed a tree. We never even destroyed anything that is called a stream of water. We never even also destroyed stones as well. We never thought that we would go against the Mother Earth. Over the years, when the civilization came in, Manjunath sir, modernity cannot be avoided. All of us are modernized. All of us started thinking about Western culture so much, European culture so much, that the culture transformed. You had to grow. You had to build roads, you had to build buildings like this, therefore destroying plants becomes easy. Plantations becomes easy. Forestation and deforestation became the buzzword, where talking of environment, you also talked about development as well. Another culture came in, we thought of hating individuals to a certain extent. Communities were hated. Particular group of women were hated. And because we never even thought that it was closely connected to environment. Going against the interest of a community became my culture. Therefore, I butchered them, killed them. If I can kill colleagues like you, human beings like you, there was no fear for me to destroy forest also, animals also. I shot it. I, hunted every animal, next animal. I also killed cobras. I killed all kinds of animals because I wanted to feed myself, enjoy, have parties, all kinds of things. Human being like me became so cruel where I never thought that the environment was very important. At least British came here and realized the fact that the environment has to be protected. Therefore, we did not do after 1947. It was the British who brought in a Forest Act. You must tell me, geology people must tell us. They brought in Forest Act, and that's why it became a reserve forest. And the reason was that the forests have to be protected. They also brought in water policy. They also brought in environmental policy. And then the industry were to be started. You start industry, there was no problem. But the reason is you need to also see that, make sure that the environment is not polluted. After 1947, my dear young friends, you must understand, in the absence of a clear public policy, we permitted all kinds of industry. And then we spoke here, let us protect Mother Earth and celebrate Mother Day. We permitted all kinds of industry, including the most poisonous industries that could be possible in India. We diverted rivers, we destroyed forests, we established all kinds of industrial, industries where the wood was main product. So cut the trees everywhere. Even now we import the trees, particularly logs from different countries as well. Malaysian teak, most of you know that we now do not have the teak wood today, and then we import teak from Malaysia today. Now we ruthlessly destroyed the forest. And no public policy came in, no government came in, no policy protected the environment. Even the human beings are not protected. And then to what extent the forest could be protected? That's the reason why most of you guys must understand the culture in India helped us so much, so that we've all came together irrespective of the science and the social sense people. Most of you people do not practice this. And most of you people do not know the significance of the plants also. Please raise your hand. How many people have the kitchen garden in your house? How many people like to have certain plants, at least some saplings planted in your life? How many people protected everything? How many people don't use plastics as well? You don't even use your toilets properly here. Sorry, my dear young friends, girlfriends. I saw the campus day before yesterday in Science Building, where the toilet was blocked. We identified as to why it was blocked. It was blocked because the used pads were put into the flush and then flushed. Though there was a waste box that was kept. You are doing your all MSc programs, science programs, postgraduate programs. You just do not even know how to make use of toilets, washrooms. And then we organize all these kinds of programs and then send a message. Why do you celebrate the Earth Day today? Give me 3 reasons why you celebrate the Earth Day. Balakrishna sir. Entire campus is full of plastics. I saw day before yesterday, went to canteen, all you enjoy your juice using straws. The straws were thrown here and there. You did not even do anything as students, and you don't even bother when the juice packets were thrown here and there, when the bottles were thrown. Chocolates, you don't even use your pockets as well as your vanity bags to keep your plastic sachets so that you can throw it elsewhere. You don't do. You don't even take care of your classrooms. You don't even take care of the place where you live. Touch your heart and tell me, how have you contributed to the environment till this today? You could be 20, 21 years or less than that. How much have you contributed to this? If you don't worry about today, remember, what will happen in next 10 years? And that's one of the reasons why you celebrate Earth Day, to give cautions so that you don't destroy your mother nature. Back in nature, let me tell you, in Mangalore, when I came in 84, when I came here, larger number of paddy fields were there. Manjunath Sahib, you were there. And our association with Marine Geology Department is a wonderful experience. Wonderful experience. We are all very romantic period during that time. Not cinema romantic, but romantic period during that time. Everywhere paddy field. And there is absolutely no problem. People were involved so much in agriculture, and good rain was there, and cultivation was there, and there was absolutely no shortage of rice or anything, particularly boiled rice, which is eaten here in all the coastal areas, Kerala as well as here. Now remember, my dear friends, Mangalore is not a basin of rice production. At least we were producing rice for our own consumption. And we depend upon Davangere, we depend upon the northern Karnataka to supply rice to us. And we don't produce. And we have everywhere buildings. And you are the beneficiaries of all these things. Not only in Dakshin Kannada, all cultivable lands are being completely converted into, buildings. Civil engineer is here, and these buildings produces the heat in such a way, how can you have rain? It is very difficult to imagine a good rain, a good health, at least a good children in the womb of a mother. In next 10 years, we don't know what would be the kind of children that are going to be born in places like Mangalore. Antibiotics ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಸರ್ ನೀವು. We understand, we foresee what is going to happen in Mangalore. It is so chemical. Or not only our mind, Mangalore is very fearful. Remember, Mangalore is fearful. I don't even hesitate to kill people. I don't even hesitate to burn people. So you're destroyed here only. And the dil also is not there. You don't even bother to keep this earth, as Professor Manjunath said, for the next generation. And then we say we are celebrating Earth Day. Why are we celebrating? Is to destroy once again? Is to cause damages? Every time, at least in terms of your life, in terms of your routine life, have you started avoiding plastics? Have you started avoiding plastics? In health center, I was looking at the records, Manjunath Saab, just wanted to see the record. How many people visit hospital? ಶಿವಣ್ಣ ಸರ್ ಬಹಳ ಭಯ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ನನಗೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ನೋಡಿ. ನಮ್ಮದು ಥರದ್ದು 60 ವರ್ಷದ ವಯಸ್ಸಿಗೆ ಬಂದಿರೋರು ಯಾರೂ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗಿ ವಸ್ತು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಯಾರು ಹೋಗ್ತಾರೆ ಹಾಸ್ಪಿಟಲ್ಗೆ? ಕನ್ನಡ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ? ನೋ. Who visits our health center? The health centers are frequently visited by you youngsters. Your age must be between 18 to 20. Sorry, I'm not going to speak about your age. And what are your diseases? Very frequently, very frequently. Your health, and then your problem is not because you have heard about my lecture, and that's why you went fine. Okay? Sir, it was so boring that's the reason why we get vomiting. ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ ಪಾಠ ಕೇಳಿಬಿಟ್ರೆ ಹೊಟ್ಟೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಗಳಗಳ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿರ್ತಾನೆ, ನಿಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತಿರಬೇಕು. ಹೊಟ್ಟೆಲೆಲ್ಲ ಲೂಸ್ ಮೋಷನ್ ಥರ ಆಗೋದು, ಜ್ವರ ಥರ ಬರೋದು, ನನ್ನ ಪಾಠ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸರಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. It's all psychological. If the teacher is not doing well properly, if the teacher is not using a wonderful language, if the teacher is not communicating properly, you get stomach upset. Okay? Loose motion, vomiting, ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿರ್ತದೆ ನಿಮಗೆ, ಅದು quite natural. But why? Why are your health is not good? You're doing post-graduation. You're supposed to be healthy. You're supposed to be absolutely strong. But your frequency of going to health center is more. People of your age, at this age, is using these many chemicals every day. That's not health center. It is also Hill Health Center because the chemicals are sold there. Chemicals are distributed there. How frequently you consume medicines today? Think of your old parents. Think of your grandparents. Ask them to tell about stories. Talk to them about and listen to their stories. Ajji kategolu. Grandparent stories. And you never listen to them because you don't have time, because you are very busy with your mobile phone. You don't want to talk to them. Our system is such, our practice is such, wherein we had a wonderful notion of health, which we destroyed. That's the reason why you don't enjoy the food that is prepared by your mother, food that is prepared at the family level. You have now Swiggies, you have now all online. Remember, in next 10 years, Dakshina Kannada will depend upon eating an alternative food system, packed system, which is available in the United States of America now. It's already 20 years old. The packed food that is available today, ready-eat food, was already there. That is a 20 years old story in America. Today or tomorrow we are also going to do that because shortage of rice, shortage of wheat, shortage of dal, shortage of all cereals, and where you want to produce and you can't produce because you don't have that much of atmosphere. If you want to live happily, my dear friends, young friends, you need to be a little careful. And that's what Professor Manjunath said. Earth Day celebrated is to remind your responsibilities. Is remind your absolute responsibilities. And most of you think that you're all God-loving people. When the prayer was sung here by our colleagues, all of you stood up. And then you thought that, your relationship with the God is more pure than the individuals. It's fine. You pray Allah, you pray Jesus, you pray Ishwar, it's all fine. But if you can do that sincere, pranam with God, sincere respect to God, you can also do it with your environment. Environment is God. Bhumi Thai, I think most of the Kannada people understand this. And then you treated Mother Earth as mother, Bhumi Thai. It was not just, and that at least that love and affection, if you were to have, things would have been better. And most of you people do not even touch mud. And I've seen so sophisticated fingers, so sophisticated hands, you don't even like to touch. You don't even mix your food with sambar and whatever and then eat. You all want to have spoon and then eat. ತುಂಬ ಸೊಫಿಸ್ಟಿಕೇಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿಬಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀರಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮಕ್ಕಳು. ತೊಂದರೆ ಇಲ್ಲ, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲ ಶ್ರೀಮಂತರು, ದುಡ್ಡಿದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲೆಲ್ಲ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ. ಬಟ್ ಸಮ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಎಕ್ಸಸೈಸ್, ಸಮ್ ಸಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೇಸ್ಟ್, ಇದನ್ನೆಲ್ಲ ನೀವು ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದಿದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ತ್ಗೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಕನೆಕ್ಷನ್ ಇದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ಮನಸ್ಸು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗಬೇಕು. ಮನುಷ್ಯರೇ ಒಟ್ಟಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ. ಇರುವ 400 ಜನ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳು, 400 ಜನ ಅಧ್ಯಾಪಕರು ನಾವು ಒಟ್ಟಾಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಸಾಬ್, 400 ಜನ ನೀವು ಬರೀ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಮಾತಾಡಿಸ್ತೀರಿ. ಯು ಓನ್ಲಿ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ದ ಬಿಲ್ಡಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ವೋಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕ್. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಅ ಪರ್ಸನ್, ಐ ಟೀಚ್ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಸೈನ್ಸ್ ಟು ಮೇಕ್ ಪೀಪಲ್ ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಕ್. But I have failed in for last 38 years on the campus to see that people interact each other with intimacy. It never happens. Never happens. ಮನುಷ್ಯರೇ ಒಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ, ಮನುಷ್ಯರೇ ನಾವು ಸೇರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಾದರೆ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟನ್ನು ತಗೊಂಡು ಬರೋದು ಹೇಗೆ? There is a great danger in my dear friends. ನಿಮಗೆ ಮದುವೆ ಆಗಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಮತ್ತು ಸಂಸಾರ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಈ ಮದರ್ ಅರ್ತ್ ಮುಂದುವರಿಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ, ಹೊಸ ಜನರೇಷನ್ ಬರಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮ ತಾಳ್ಮೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಷನ್ ಈಗ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡದು ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಇನ್ ದ ಆಬ್ಸೆನ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಅ ಪೊಲಿಟಿಕಲ್ ಪಾಲಿಸಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮಂಥವರು ಪ್ರತಿ ಸಾರಿ ನಮಗೆ ಬಹಳ ದೊಡ್ಡ ಕೆಲಸ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಜೋಗದ ಸಿರಿ ಅಂತ ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ನೇಹಿತರು ಆಡಿದಾಗ ಅದು ಅಷ್ಟು ಲೋ ವಾಯ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಆಡೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅದು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇಡೀ ಕಿವಿಗೆ, ಹೇಳ್ತೀನಿ ಕೇಳಿ, ಇಡೀ ಕಿವಿಗೆ ಬಡಿದು ನಮ್ಮದು ಹೃದಯ ತಟ್ಟಬೇಕದು. ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸಾರಿ, ವಿತ್ ಡ್ಯೂ ರೆಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಟು ದಟ್ಸ್ ಐ ಆಮ್ ಸೇಯಿಂಗ್. ಅದು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಮಸ್ಟ್ ಟಚ್ ಯುವರ್ ಹಾರ್ಟ್. ಯಾರು ಬರೆದದ್ದು ಅಂತ ತಮಗೆ ಗೊತ್ತು ತಾನೆ? ಭಾಳ ದೊಡ್ಡದದು. ಅದು ಈ ದೇಶದ ಮರಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಕಣಗಳ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಭೂಮಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ಮನುಷ್ಯರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ನನ್ನ ಬಗ್ಗೆ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಬರೆದದ್ದು. ಅದು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥನೆ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಆದರೆ ಅದು ಸ್ಟ್ರೈಟ್ ಅವೇ ಎಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಹೋಗಬೇಕು? ಅದು ನಮ್ಮ ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ಬೇಕು. ಅದ್ರ ಬದಲು ಇಂಗ್ಲೀಷ್ ಆಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಖುಷಿ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹಿಂದಿ ಆಡಿದ್ರೆ ಸುಲಭ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. The prayers and the worship that you do, my dear friends, is to protect yourself, not for anything. Love people, love everybody, irrespective of caste and community, whoever she or he is. Love everybody, respect everybody. As much as you respect everyone, you can also respect plant. ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಅದ್ರ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ ನಿಮಗೆ. ಪ್ಲ್ಯಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ಗಿಡಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ಮರಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಜೊತೆಗೆ, ನದಿಗಳ ಜೊತೆಗೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ ಪ್ರೀತಿ ಬರುವುದಿಲ್ಲ. ರೊಮ್ಯಾಂಟಿಕ್ ಆಗೋಕ್ಕೆ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಿಮಗೆ ಇದೇ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ನಿಮಗೆ ಹೌ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಯು ಬಿ ರೊಮ್ಯಾಂಟಿಕ್ ಇನ್ ಯುವರ್ ಲೈಫ್ ವೇರ್ ಯು ಎಂಜಾಯ್ ಎವ್ರಿಥಿಂಗ್? ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಮ್ಯೂಸಿಕ್, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಪಕ್ಷಿದು ಹಾಡುಗಳು, ಪಕ್ಷಿದು ಸೌಂಡ್ಗಳು, ನಿಮಗೆ ಒಳ್ಳೆ ನದಿದು ಸೌಂಡ್ ಬರೋದು ಯಾವಾಗ? ಆವಾಗ ನಿಮಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ರೊಮ್ಯಾಂಟಿಸಿಸಮ್ ಇದ್ದಾಗ. ಅದೇ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ಇಲ್ಲದಿದ್ದರೆ ಬ್ಲೈಂಡ್ ದೇವರನ್ನ ಪೂಜೆ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ಏನೂ ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅವರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ನಮ್ಮ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಬಾಲಕೃಷ್ಣ ಅವರ ಮುಖಾಂತರ, ಇಡೀ ಮೆರಾಂಜಿಯಾಲಜಿ ಡಿಪಾರ್ಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ನಿಮ್ಮಲ್ಲಿ ರಿಕ್ವೆಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ಏನು ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ನೀವೇ ಸ್ವತಃ ಏನಾದರೂ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವನದಲ್ಲಿ ಎನ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಒಂದು ಸಣ್ಣ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ದುಡ್ಡು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ ನಾನು, ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಸಾಧ್ಯವಾದಷ್ಟು ಮಟ್ಟಿಗೆ ಡ್ಯಾಮೇಜ್ಗಳನ್ನು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಮಾಡಿ. ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ನಲ್ಲಿರ್ತೀರಿ, ಸ್ವಿಚ್ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಹೋಗಿ, ನೀವಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತ್ಬಿಟ್ಟಾಗ ಅದನ್ನು ಮತ್ತೆ ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಅಟೆಂಡರ್ ಬರಬೇಕು ಅಂತೇನಿಲ್ಲ. ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀರಿ, ಮೂತ್ರ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಡ್ತೀರಿ, ನೀರು ಲೀಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾನೆ ಇರ್ತದೆ. ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಒಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ಟೈಮ್ ತೊಗೊಂಡು ಆಗಿ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೀಕ್ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂದರೆ ಚೇರ್ಮನ್ಗೆ ಹೇಳಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಟಾಯ್ಲೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ನೀರು ಲೀಕ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ. ಫ್ಯಾನ್ಗಳು ನಿಮಗೆ ಬೇಡ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಡಿ, ಅದನ್ನು ಆಫ್ ಮಾಡಿಬಿಟ್ಟು ಬನ್ನಿ. ಸಣ್ಣ ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಆಲ್ ಸ್ಮಾಲ್ ಗೆಸ್ಚರ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಯೋರ್ಸ್ that will help us. Otherwise, I don't think that God also will protect us. ನಿಮಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ದೇವರು ಒಳ್ಳೇದು ಮಾಡಲಿ. ನೀವು ನನಗೆ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ಕರೆದು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಅವಕಾಶ ಮಾಡಿಕೊಟ್ಟದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ ಅವರಿಗೆ, ಟೀಮ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಧನ್ಯವಾದ ಹೇಳ್ತೇನೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಮದರ್ ಅರ್ತ್ಸ್ ಡೇನ ಸೆಲೆಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಭಾರತದವರಿಗೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ಥರದ ನೈತಿಕ ಹಕ್ಕಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಅದು ನೈತಿಕ ಹಕ್ಕು ಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನೀವೊಂದಷ್ಟು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಮಾಡಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂದರೆ ನಮಗೆ ಮಾಡೋಕ್ಕಾಗೋದೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ please see that year afterwards you become one of the contributors, so that you have a right to tell, come on, let us celebrate Mother Day. ಹಂಗೆ ಹೇಳಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಹತ್ರ ಏನಾದ್ರು ಒಂದು ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅದಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಪ್ರಾಬ್ಲಮ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ, ಎಷ್ಟು ಜನಕ್ಕೆ ನಾನು ಕನ್ನಡ ಅರ್ಥ ಆಯಿತು ಅಂದರೆ, ಯು ಡೋಂಟ್ ಅಂಡರ್ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಕನ್ನಡ, ರೈಟ್? ಡೋಂಟ್ ವರಿ, ಯು ಆಸ್ಕ್ ಪ್ರೊಫೆಸರ್ ಮಂಜುನಾಥ್ afterwards. Thanks everybody, have a nice time. Professor Balakrishna, please excuse me for leaving the hall and then I'm not able to listen to you. I'm happy that you are our alumni. Oh yeah, thank you.
I thank Honorable Vice Chancellor for his kind remarks. Whatever programs we organize, it should be for the wider community. And we will make it to the public also. We will invite the public because under surrounding region. So public lecture is most important. At least of the region, the people should know what type of programs are going on this campus. We agree and abide your suggestions, sir. Whenever we conduct in future programs, we will make it to the wider audience. So on behalf of university and our department, I thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor. In spite of busy schedule, he took interest that he could attend the Mother's Earth Day, which is very important, and given many suggestions to us. Being young, you must campaign this program. So you have to think about the health problem also. Even you must have known about the diabetics, affecting the children. It is very dangerous. So if it is affected, the entire growth system will be affected. So in that way, we are very fortunate to have you, sir. On our behalf of our department and alumni, I request you to accept the knowledge book. You can have a break for refreshment and reassembled here, okay? Beings first appeared on the African continents and gradually migrated to different parts of the world. If we consider 24 hours is the age of the earth, human beings appeared just about 48 seconds. And now the population has crossed 7 billion, 7,000 crores. So because of that, the heavy stress on environment, the environmental processes affected to the greater extent. You can see the heat wave. You may not believe it or not, the heat wave is coming from the ocean. Ocean is water, it absorbs heat. But the recent finding shows that ocean is also emitting heat, causing problem to the environment. So because of that, the Earth Day is celebrated with different themes. And the main theme of 56th anniversary is the versus plastics, because it is affecting the plastics affecting at planetary scale, that means the global scale. So I request our alumnus Professor K. Balakrishna to deliver advocacy talk on plastic pollution and how best to avoid it. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm audible. Thank you, Professor Manjunatha, for giving me a nice introduction and for inviting me to this talk. I was, now just right away take off, and it will be a kind of a little bit of tutorial as well as so-called advocacy talk. So where what we have to do as a responsible citizen to avoid the plastics and so on. So about 30-35 minutes, we'll keep going. So now Earth and plastic, this theme is planet versus plastic. So where is plastic connected with the planet? So that's where I try to look into the things. How is geology, because for Earth, from the history point of view, 4.5 billion years, plastics and all is nothing. It doesn't care in the history of the, sir was telling that 24-hour history, we came only just a few minutes back. So plastic as a whole for the Earth is nothing. It's a big history is there, but for us this plastic in our lifetime, yes, it's very important. So that's the connection that the Earth Day theme they wanted to establish. Yeah. Sorry, here, right here. Mail. Here. Hold on. Maybe it's off. Just a pointer over time. So then, important connect is health. So these plastics that whatever we are, planet versus plastic. Here the important point that they're talking about is health. Plastics and health. Plastics and health. Plastics and the health of the humans, health of the organisms, biota. So if the health of the humans or the health of, for example, the biota, and then in turn the health of the human beings, and then it's all a kind of a circulation. There's a kind of a food chain. If human beings are gone, then what is the point of Earth? There's no living place. Earth will be there, but so here plastic is so critical now, become so critical that it is threatening our existence itself. As what we could hear from today's introduction by Professor Manjunath and our Vice Chancellor. So you can see the importance of our living, our existence itself is at stake if we do not take care. That's the reason why can we just, I'll just play this small quick video, and then it looks to be going fast. This may be switched off or something. This light can be switched off. Yeah, this is a trailer of Earth Day 2024, which was posted. It goes probably it's a little bit fast. Is running, so yeah. But you can have a look at it. Yeah, it kind of conveyed in just a few seconds the entire theme of the Earth Day. Okay, we just have a look at it again. We are eating the plastic, we are breathing it, and plastic industry knows it, and they are already knowing it since a long time. So it is time that we advocate against this one. So plastics are there in our food, and it can do so many health issues. So it's time that we reduce the plastic by whatever 60% is what is being advocated by 2040. So 3 simple acts: support, and then reduce, and so on. Fine. So okay, now about Earth Day. Who initiated this Earth Day? In 1970, there was a brief mention during the introduction also. Senator Gaylord Nelson, he was a senator, later became governor in the USA. So he was one who was a great environmentalist. He fought for the conservation of the environment. At that time, 1970s, there was an industrial boom, and there was a lot of hue and cry on pollution. So he made a big hue and cry, and then that was one to mark his protest. The Earth Day was the first Earth Day, was initiated on April 22nd, the same day in 1970. So he raised a lot of hue and cry on oil spills, air pollution, and pesticides, which was at that time. Okay, that's about brief history of Earth Day. Now come, let's little bit look into the plastics. And I really saw a beautiful posters all around outside the Senate Hall done by our marine geology students. Whatever I'm trying to cover, most of them you have covered it in your beautiful chart. But for the benefit of most of you, I'll little bit more explain on that, and then I get into things. So I'll just not get into the details of the history, but it came as early as several as early as 1800s. The plastics were there, and you can see, especially from 1950s onwards, the plastic boom happened. You can see somewhere here, World War II was fought in around 1945. At that time, lot of plastic was used for the aircrafts and for the weapons and for vehicles. Plastic is a very light material. So at that time, plastic was thought as a wonder material, and that initiated plastic boom from 1950 onwards. Then there was no stop, so much so that now it has become a problem. Well, how is this plastic made? First of all, from where how is it done? Number one, the biggest today polluter, global warming, carbon dioxide emissions, and so on. It's all because of the burning of fossil fuels, coal, and so on. So that is also the product. Crude oil is the product from which these plastic is done. Crude oil, and then you can see initially it is mined from the earth, and then it goes to the oil refinery and gets into petrochemical plant, and there all these ethylenes, polyethylenes, and all are done. Plastic nodules are done. Plastic factory, and different varieties of plastics are produced. So this is some terminologies, like what is typically plastic means. In Greek, it is nothing but to mold, to bring together. You can see that so various monomers, chemical monomers, are joined together to make a polymer, and that's how it becomes a plastic. Synthetic polymer, whatever the breakup is there. To set together many parts, also known as man-made material, is nothing but plastics. So you can see that how these plastics are made from different monomers and made as a polymer, and then ethylene, polyethylene, and all those things are produced. So whatever bags that we use are made of these polymers. So where does this plastic come from? Who are the biggest producers of plastic in the world today? These are 2008 statistics. You can see that China is biggest producers of plastic and exporter also. Almost $19.5 billion worth of plastic is produced by them and exported, followed by Germany, and then United States, and there are several countries are there. And where does India stand? It is about 587 million US dollar is what India is also an exporter of plastic. So these are the big producers whom we should now target. China and Germany, Europe, in fact, and then United States. Look at the production of plastic, how it has increased. I was telling that World War was somewhere fought in 1940 and 50, and then from then on, it 45 onwards, it has gone to such a level that today is about 400 million tons of plastic is produced every year, and then it is further expected to go 2050 much higher. So this is has to be stopped. This has to be come to a stop, otherwise our life is at stake. So what is the life cycle of a plastic? So from production to final, how is it going? We saw this nuclear power plant, oil refinery, the plastics are produced, and then some chemicals are also added. Additive chemicals are double danger. Plastic is itself a danger, plus some additive chemicals are added to make it stiff and so on, like various persistent like PFAS, perfluoryl alkyl substances, and various persistent organic compounds are all added to it, make it stiffer or durable. So that is double danger. And then you have plastic products, then finally sold to consumers, and they will dispose it. And you can see that most of them are going to landfills, 90% of it. And also you can see that some of them are sent to recycling, about 10% of it, and chemical recycling or mechanical recycling, and recovered and then reused. So that's how the life cycle is there. But you can note it, 90% goes to landfill. From landfill, it can further be damaging the groundwater and so on. So now look at this another important slide where you can see how much of plastic is disposed in what way. So you can see that 9%, only 9% of plastic waste is recycled, while 22% is mismanaged. Mismanagement means what? Throwing on the roadside or throwing into the river, garbage. It is having no kind of a responsible person, just thrown off, and it is spreading everywhere. So we can have a look at it. So here mismanaged and uncollected litter is in brown, and landfill is more in the dark blue, and incinerated is kind of purplish, and recycled is green. So you can see in all countries, these are all the countries, OECD stands for Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. Some about 50-60 countries are there, all developed nations. OECD, most of the Europe and the United States, Australia, and all this. India is not a part of OECD. So these OECD countries, and see, Canada is one which has most of it is being landfilled. Whereas let's go to India, where there is a lot of recycled is everywhere less. In India we have more of mismanaged and uncollected litter. India and other African countries are the leading people who have and also other non-OECD Asian countries have mismanaged plastic. That's why when we go on the roadside we can see a lot of plastic dumped. So this kind of mismanagement. How? Anyway, things are changing now. We'll come to that later. So this is something similar. We can see here 10 million tons of plastics are dumped in oceans annually. That's equal to more than a garbage truckload every minute. I saw in the poster there, in 2020, it seems the microplastics in the ocean will be more than the fish. I did not know that. Someone put it nicely in the post. Microplastics, I'll come to that word, pieces in the ocean are more than the fish in the ocean by 2050. Such is the kind of plastic that is being dumped into the ocean, because these are all so-called mismanaged plastic going into the ocean. All 50% of all plastic produced is single-use plastic, and just it can be brought and thrown. What is single-use plastic, by the way? Somewhere it's there. I'm sure you know that. I'll come to that again. So we'll come to that. Yeah. So then less than 9% of all plastic gets recycled, so on and so forth. 100% of mussels tested have contained microplastics. I'll come to what is microplastic. 1 million marine animals are killed by plastic pollution every year. There will be more plastic in our oceans. Yeah, it's also there here, fine. So what is single-use plastic? Materials made primarily from fossil fuel-based chemicals, like disposed immediately after use, often within minutes. Most commonly found in packaging software like bottles, wrappers, straw, bags. Items are ubiquitous in our daily lives, providing convenience and so on. So these are all the single-use plastics, which will not be. It can be recycled, but but it is meant only for single use. Coming to microplastics, this is another big term that is the trending word. So what is this microplastic? As you can see, anything less than 5 millimeter is microplastic. We'll come to that. Less than 5 millimeter is microplastics. So all these big plastics, so-called single-use plastics, they're broken down into much smaller pieces and converted as microplastics. So you can see the various terminologies of the plastics. Right from megaplastics is one which we regularly use. Macro, mesoplastic, microplastics, 5 millimeter and less, and there's nanoplastics also. Nanoplastics, the Vice Chancellor was telling about womb, the stillborn baby. So nanoplastic researchers have found that nanoplastics have even reached the womb of the mothers, so that can cause stillbirth and so on. So that is the impact of nanoplastics on the human beings. So these are all the scanning electron microscope images of various various microplastics, which I got it from my colleague's research paper. My colleague, another alumni of Mangalore University, Dr. Anish Kumar Warrior is there. So he's been doing a lot of work on microplastics. Recently he has published a paper on marine pollution bulletin, where he collected lot of samples from Netravati river and then looked for microplastics, and he found so many of these kind of colorful microplastics in the river bed sediments, which he was published recently. So these are all the primary microplastics that made for various functions, like tires, synthetic textiles, and marine coatings, so on and so forth. And secondary microplastics are one which gets degraded. You can see polymer degradation, polymer fragments, microbial biomass, degradation pathways of synthetic polymers in various aquatic environment. So these are all the mismanaged solid waste. I'll skip this one. So another important point here, plastic can take 500 years to biodegrade in the ocean. So you can see that various kind of so-called single-use plastics and multiple other plastic things, you can see the way how much years it cigarette, but 10 years, plastic grocery bag 20 years, styrofoam cup 50 years, aluminum cans 200 years, and so on. So fishing nets and other things, 600 years is what is the time it takes to biodegrade. Now coming to the health effects. This is all about microplastics or plastic. How is it affecting the health? You can see this food chain here, how right from the microplastic reaches the benthic organisms, and then from there it gets into various aquatic species, fishes, larger fish, and the bird, and so on and so forth. And you can see that they are likely to be killed. You can see that how these microplastics and nanoplastics are having various effects on different body organisms, like at a cellular level. It can affect especially the nanoplastics, which is in between 0.1 microns and point. So these are all the very bad effects of microplastics. this battery got just one slide more. Probably battery got discharged or something. Just check it. Yes. Battery is down. So, yeah. Anyway, you can press the things. How much time is left? I have time. 15 minutes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So you can please see this plastic itself is not biochemically reactive, too big to enter cells, and mostly they are affecting through the entanglement and then suffocation, ingestion of these. So that's one reason they is one physical threat. Chemical threat is another one. So where these animals die. You can see the issue of microplastics. Perch larva stomach is filled with microplastics, and then you can see some another with the blue one, the greenish one. These are microplastics beads in some coffee pods, and accumulation of microplastics in a beach hopper. So microplastics found throughout the gut. So you can see some of these things. So these are all the scientific studies that are done, and these are all coming from things like microbeads, which are there in our washing from toothpaste, and also it is there in some kind of a skin creams. We have some beads, microbeads. So that is used to kind of remove the hair and so on. It's a personal care product. So these beads are nothing but micro kind of, it's plastic material. It finally goes into the ocean. So this is also a kind of affecting the ocean later, the ocean organisms. There's another bird, a very big bird called as albatross, almost 6 feet big bird, in a place called Midway Island near Hawaii. So they consume, they are kind of feeding their chicks through some foods available on the superficial water. So when they are kind of taking the water, they take in microplastics also, which is floating, and then feed it into the chicks. So once it assumes, it mistakes it to be food. Microplastic is a food, colorful things. So then once it goes into the chick's body, then chick cannot digest it and it dies. So there's a lot of deaths of these albatross in Midway Island in Hawaii. You can see that. So now in our own food, that's about the organisms. What about our food? So in our plates also, yes, we are discussing. So we are having some food. So in our plates also we have microplastics now. Such kind of things are there. Of course, plastic plate anyway. Now they are actually officially it's banned. The plastic, but still plastic plates are given. Plastic spoons are there. It is India, although it has banned, it's still there, unfortunately. So well, look at this figure where you can see from where and all it is entering into our food. It can be coming from plastic waste, goes into land, and then it's here, food materials, plastic packaging will give it, and then drinking water also can have microplastics, and so on and so forth. So it's almost reached our plate, these microplastics. There's another thing which we often use, most of us have microwave ovens. So you can see that, please don't use these polypropylene they're so-called microwave friendly polypropylenes are there. Better use the whatever prescribed glass and material. So this polypropylene container filled with clean water, when heated in microwave for 3 minutes, it can bring in lot of microplastics. So it needs to be, you need to take care of these things. There is another summary of where and all the microplastic enters our human body. You can look at that. Maybe I'll just inhalation, almost whatever 121,000 particles. Ingestion. So this I was reading somewhere. People who breathe in mouth, they are more prone to take more microplastics in the air than people who are doing normal breathing. So please practice good yogic breathing, not breathe from the mouth, but breathe normal thing. So mouth is a bigger area, so more plastics are going into it. So you can see we may ingest a lot of microplastics by that. And there's several things are there. Let's read out some of them. Inhaled particles may activate T cells and so on and so forth. You can see microplastics may accumulate in the liver and kidney, and microplastics have been found in human stools, suggesting particles may be widespread in human food chain. Ultrafine particles in air, example in air pollution hotspots due to road vehicles, may penetrate biological membranes and transfer to systematic circulation, and it's there in human placenta also, so on and so forth. So that's the kind of danger that it's just a kind of a summary of various where and all microplastics are found. It can cause miscarriage and male infertility also, and it is there in our dairy milk, breast milk, and babies ingest more microplastics and microfibers, especially when it's crawling in the floor and so on. It may take out anything and eat. And also it is playing with toys which are plastic, which can be ingested, so on and so forth. Microplastics and are both in the indoor air we breathe, more microplastics are there in indoor than outdoor. That is also fine. These are all the scientific findings. I am wherever possible I have given the reference, but this is all been done in research and is reported elsewhere. Weathered microplastics are more damaging than virgin microplastics, as they can absorb toxic chemicals and heavy metals. So it's a double danger. Okay, that's all about the dangers. So we talked about what is plastics and what are the dangers. Now how to solve this? There's a big problem. So Earth Day, whatever now, why we have assembled here is to solve this. Earth Day, why it's not celebrating, it's as Professor Manjunath and the Vice Chancellor had told, it's actually just to kind of rethink and pledge ourselves to kind of get out of this problem. So there is something I will get into that. So some important things you can see here about 60% reduction in plastic is what we have to advocate. So we have to advocate to the government, to wherever it is, 60% reduction by 2040. Just like how they are talking about reduction of carbon dioxide by whatever time, 2030 for example. In the same way, we have to reduce this plastic also in a big way. What needs to be done? Can we have an alternative for plastic? Yes. So already some research is speaking of a component called as polyhydroxyalkanoids. There could be some chemistry students also. This is another variety of plastic which is produced by the microorganisms. So microorganisms kind of make a polymer from they grow. Microorganisms are grown in a carbon rich environment, and they kind of can make a biodegradable plastic. So polyhydroxyalkanoids, it's a class of biodegradable polymers produced by certain microorganisms. So this is one thought that is being researched across the world. Another thing called as mycelium composite materials. What is mycelium? It's a fungus. Whatever that mushroom is there, its roots are called mycelium. These roots are having a remarkable ability to kind of connect. So if more fungus or if more mycelium is grown, it can make a kind of a composite and it can act like a plastic. It is all easily biodegradable. So it's called as mycelium composite material. It can, it can grow in substrates like sugar cane, bagasse. These are all abundantly available, so which can help, as an alternative. But these are all in the research stages and it is being tried. So this is one aspect. So these are all the various mycelium based composite materials. It can act as a flame retardant, it can be a kind of brick for construction also, and can be a pollution remediation, and so on and so forth. Semiconductor materials. So these are all various 6 organic biodegradable alternatives to single-use plastics like seaweed extract, fish scales, mycelium, cellulose nanofibers, hemp, elephant grass. So many things are thought about. So you youngsters are also, you are all now, these are all the research topics for you when you go for your higher education. So now any such things which you can suggest which is an alternative to the plastic is immediately caught. So that's the kind of, can win a Nobel Prize also, because plastic has to be phased out. If there is any biodegradable thing that can be researched, then it is a great service to the society. You would have read in not read in your plastic bottles, you would have seen these things, some recycling things, right? Number 1, number 2, number 3, all those things in your bottles. If you open if there is a, if you just see in the back, so what does it say? It says recycling, but actually it is not true. Only number 1 and number 2 are recyclable. Remaining, it's too expensive for them to recycle. So they are not recycling, it's being dumped. And partially 5 is recyclable. Only 1 and 2 is sent for recycling. Remaining, these figures are all dummy. That's what, the recycling figures are dummy. It's only 1 and 2 are done. Remaining goes to the landfill. We can't recycle. Or it's more expensive rather. So yeah, these are all different indicators of various. What about countries? What countries are doing to solve this problem? Many countries, like African countries, have banned this manufacture, sale, and importing of these bags. And India has also banned single-use plastics, but still it is available, right? So that's again where our willpower, the government, that's where we have to advocate to the government, to our public representatives, on really sticking to whatever is that being implemented. Otherwise, it's just in the paper only, it will be there. We are not really implementing it. This needs to be done in a big way. European Union also has done its bit in banning these things. But still, in the USA, I was there for a conference last year. And in the supermarket, they are giving these plastic bags only. So USA has not taken much interest in banning these things. So that's unfortunate actually, it's unfortunate. They are the biggest producers. So there is already some big talk being done all. A group of 200 countries have come together, including India and all the developed nations. The so-called Global Plastics Treaty is coming up in 2024, end of 2024. They are all coming together to make a global plastic treaty where their main aim is to reduce the plastic by 60% by 2040 through a circular economy, recycle and reuse and so on. And role of microorganisms are also there. That's about the government level, and at the level of scientific, microorganisms have to be discovered. These are all the research areas. Some microorganisms are found to degrade these microplastics. It's all in the research stage. Okay, now what you and I can do? Okay, countries have done, or some other alternatives can be done through what you and I can do. One is, of course, the treaty will help us to do, but what action we need? We should fight. See, we have social media and we can write to the editor, or we can talk to the people's representative and kind of advocate for such kind of decrease in the plastic with the decision makers, and we have to hold account. R&D is needed, plastic production reduction, and plastic producers have to be accountable. Whatever the health costs they are doing, they have to be made to pay for whatever the health effects are there. So these things have to happen. Codes have to be proactive, and greenwashing. So I told about the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's all. Recycling is only in paper. It's just they're telling that it's all our material is biodegradable and green and so on, but it's true, actually false. and this is called as greenwashing. And subsidies. Now even in Mangalore, there is a plastic park coming up. So government is subsidizing this plastic industry for that. Almost 50% is subsidized. But I don't know whether such a kind of subsidy is needed for this kind of plastic parks in Ganjimata area. There it is coming up already. So these things government has to think actually whether subsidies have to be given. Plastic industry disclosure, they are also have to disclose about the harmful effects that plastic, just like in a cigarette packet, it's harmful to health, and plastic industry also have to do these things. Please, you and I will not do this. I'm sure none of us are doing that. Today, Vice Chancellor also was telling about some of the bad practices that we are adopting. So let us not do that. Let us please, and burning plastic waste. Yeah, in the villages actually there is no disposal mechanism. So they are burning it. So can this be avoided? Because burning again is going to affect our atmosphere, and it's releasing some toxins called dioxins which can be really harmful to our lungs. Can we do this? So, and again, see, these are all I just told already in the beginning. So much of garbage is being dumped everywhere across India. Forget about our area, and across India, anywhere you go in India, we find these things. Is there any way to stop it? So can you and I do that? If you and I can do it, then our family members will see us, our friends will see us, and then a chain reaction. Let us, people who are, about 50 people are there. If we are following this, I think it's a chain reaction. So then I'm sure you are all doing that, but still it's going to be, so you tell others also, and it can be a revolution. Beaches also, we see a lot of these things which should not be done. Yeah, this one I just said about this beads in the plastic. Another thing is polyester. Now this is another big thing. All our clothing, so-called fast fashion. These days, quick materials, our garments are cheaper materials which are done quickly and in cheap labor. In different countries they produce. So all this polyester clothing is producing a lot of microplastic. It's going all the way to the ocean. So can we kind of reduce this polyester thing? It also may not be good. Maybe more cotton, organic cotton friendly things may be a better one to wear our garments because these are one big producer of microplastics. There's one Kerala village which is making money from the plastic waste. I told about burning, but if we can sell it to some, if there is in every villages has some plastic collectors, they can collect it every week. I think some villages in Kerala, they are doing it. They collect every week from their house and then they sell it, and whatever the money generated can be used for the village development. This is also happening in India. This has to catch up. So reduce, reuse, recycle, and so on is the ultimate mantra. Refuse, redesign your lifestyle, including wearing different types of clothes. So please think on these things, what you and I have to do. Bring our lunch in reusable plastic or metal containers. Use steel, copper water bottle. Don't use these plastic lids, single-use items. Bring your own containers. Reuse the bags. Do not ask bags with the shopkeeper. Many people ask for a plastic bag. It should not be done. Talk to your family and reduce the amount of plastics. Thank you very much. I thank Professor Manjunath and the Department of Marine Geology for inviting me to this talk. And also he has given me some material, and I thank Vice Chancellor and Mangalore University for kind of honoring me as an alumni to come here and address all the young audience. And I got most of the material from this website, earthday.org, which is the one which conducts this Earth Day across the world. And yeah, my director also I thank, and Dr. Anish Kumar gave me some materials, my colleague. I thank him also. Thank you very much. And any questions I can answer. So please, I would be happy to answer any questions. Yes, please. Yeah. Correct. Correct. Very nice point. Awareness. So he talked about awareness. So right from child, it's a responsibility of the parents also to tell their small children itself about, dispose the plastic in the right places. So if as a child itself, if you are brought that culture, then we are much aware. Now in India or other developing countries, awareness is not there. So people dump. But again, I was discussing with one Swamiji in Ramakrishna Mission. He was very active in this Swachh Bharat mission. I was asking, is it that awareness, lack of awareness, that is making the people dump everywhere? Then he said, no. Why, Swamiji? Why you are telling no? He's telling. I told them that in roadside and all they are dumping it. He's telling me they are dumping it not everywhere across the road. Only in one place only they are dumping. Only in one place lot of things garbage are there. Remaining place it's not there. That means that persons are aware that someone will come and take it. So that sense is there. The thing is, he was kind of arguing it against. So they are having the knowledge. At least they know that it has to. Some other things are everywhere, but in all entire road it's not there. Only in some spots it is there. So then he was going on to tell that. So what is the solution? I said. Then he's telling that decision makers have to be more proactive. Why they have not given? See, I was telling about the village issue. So there is no kind of collection of this plastic. So then what they have to do? Either they burn it or they kind of dump it. If the decision makers can provide some kind of a, like in Kerala village, if some way to dispose all the remotest corner of villages, everywhere there's some plastic bin, plastic collection areas, if it is there. It can generate a lot of employment also, and the government has money for that. Thing is, the willpower of our authorities is needed, that's all. If that is there, then that our Indian problem can be solved. More than the kind of awareness, the government, if it is proactive in these things, I think most of these plastic issues can be solved. Good point. Thank you. Any other questions, please? Young friends, madam, please. Exactly. Yeah. So that, that is the, there is no way unless we have an alternative. Government policy, as you rightly said, government policy, that whatever the treaty and other things, if the government itself makes government is talking about that, but it's not really happening somehow. So unless, as I said, production must be stopped. If the plastic production itself is stopped, then only the problem will be ready. We are forced to find alternatives. So that looks to be the only solution. I think that is happening already. Through that global plastic treaty is coming up, and then production will go down. Hope for the best. Yeah. Yes, madam. I see. Yeah, our body, it is already reaching from the fish is reached already. So we are already ingesting microplastics. We don't know the ill effects only after, including all those male infertility, all stillbirth, all these things are all happening. So doctors may not know. They are telling only, okay, sperm count is less. But which made the sperm count less? Maybe, who knows, microplastics only. We do not know. So these things are already there in the food actually. So we have only ways to stop the production of plastic. There's again tax and other things. And they are also increasing these plastic parks now. Yes. Sir. Yes, sir.
With respect to India, my question is with respect to India.
Yeah.
We are not failing with the collection and other things.
We are not.
We are not failing with the
Yeah.
collection of the garbage, plastic garbage and all. But the problem with India, especially in the metropolitan cities like Delhi, Bangalore. Today morning I heard a news that it's caught fire with the garbage dump mountain. I'm not saying a hill, it's a mountain in Delhi, Ghaziabad. How will we manage that thing? How
Sorry.
will we manage those plastic which are already collected from metropolitan cities, wherever we are separating it already, the organic waste and the plastic waste were separated and they were dumped in a particular place. And we are failing to manage those plastic, we are recycling and all. How will we manage that thing?
Yeah, so there is no solution. Actually, they are supposed to do it in a landfill. All those plastics have to be put in a systematic landfill and then covered. But apparently there is a kind of I don't know why it was not dumped in landfill. It was put, maybe it's a kind of temporary location where they have dumped it, and then it might be moving to the landfill. So there all these fire accident and other things are happening. So yeah, it has to go to a landfill, which if it's not gone, then there is some failure in the system there. So someone is not working sincerely. If all the government officials are working sincerely, it not have happened. There is a lack of some sincerity in the people who are working around, which could be causing these kind of things. That's my thought. Thank you very much once again for the patience here.
On behalf of university and from Department of Marine Geology and Marine Geology Department Alumni Association, I thank Professor Balakrishna for delivering an excellent lecture initiated from the synthesis of plastics to the end stage. It is rather cycling, and it is cycling and recycling to the greater extent, because the degradation of plastic is too long, so it takes in terms of hundreds of years. At the same time, every year 400 million tons of plastics produced. So it is very difficult to manage. Can you hear me? So whom to blame? See, cannot blame. We have to blame ourselves. No government can take strict action. How long? Okay, it can be banned. Even if it is banned, the pollutants will be there for 100 years or another few thousands years, because the plastic, it is degrading, splitting to the finer particles, and it will enter whole system. It is there in the atmosphere, it is there in the Himalayas, and also in the deepest part of the ocean, Saint Marinette Trench, around 11 kilometers below the surface of the ocean. So already it is there, but you have to reduce it. Even if you reduce, it will be there. Like that, there are n number of contaminants, not only plastics, toxic heavy metals, for example, cadmium or lead or zinc, or organics, because there are billions of organic compounds, more than 10,000 inorganic compounds are there, but organics are too many, and synthetic organic compounds, contaminants are too many. Even Identifying them itself is a challenging problem and their hazards. Simple tobacco, it contains more than 3000 chemicals. So hazardous things, one thing. So only people have to aware. For example, many of you always like the carbonated water. It's not good for health. You eat fresh. Don't eat the stored material. Always see in canteen or restaurants using the Coke. Not good. Use water. You take the fresh lime juice. Don't drink fresh fruit juice. Eat fruits. You don't know how many microorganisms are there in the cup you use in a canteen or in any other restaurant. However, how long they can clean it, you cannot remove these microbial organisms. Similarly, quality of food, junk food. Try to avoid junk food, fast food, and there is one salt called the Chinese salt. It's a very, even salt itself is dangerous. It's not required, only a very small amount to require. But the Chinese salt is too harmful. Chinese food you may like, or for example, all this chat items, not good for health. Eat fresh. Don't eat chocolate. You eat dry fruits or one date. Date, date and palm. Instead of chocolates, you use this. It's good for health. So that has to come to your mind. So through this kind of programs, because nearly more than 1 billion people participating the program, at least it will come to the people's mind. It's not good. In what way it is damage to us, to the entire environment. We blame global warming. So how it is causing? If we do not control, all of us have to suffer. For example, excess of heat wave. You'll surprised to know that heat wave coming from the ocean. Places like Canada, average temperature is 0 degrees Celsius. Suddenly, temperature in 2020-21, temperature gone up to 50 degrees centigrade. Thousands of people died. We cannot adopt sudden change in temperature. So how it is happening? Because of improper management. The polar regions are worst affected than the tropical regions. The global warming, what we face in the tropical regions like Mangalore, it is 2 or 3 times higher in the cold countries. Excess heat wave is very common in cold countries, temperature crossing 40 degrees. We have buses it is just like Volvo bus, you cannot open the shutters. Trains are like that. So if temperature is 40 degrees centigrade, how to control? So ultimately, through this kind of the programs, to bring it to the notice of the public, I feel every day we have to remind, or it should be telecasted. It's not good, it's not good. Ultimately, like how tobacco was eradicated. Tobacco, even I was also smoker in the 20th century, but not in 21st century. I gave up. So in 21st century, the tobacco is almost considered as a drug, almost banned. You don't see any smokers around. But in the West, there are many smokers. Lady smokers are more than gent smokers in the foreign countries. So it has to come to the mind of the general public, then only we can control this problem. So through this kind of programs, at least we will control it, although we cannot totally stop, because policy, again, the policy has to be taken to ban it. So they will not ban it, because where to dump that? Even if you ban plastic, there will be so much of the petroleum products, byproducts, it will be there in the environment. So just like there is one chemical used even in oil, you may not be knowing, the oils are mixed with petrochemicals. Paraffin. Paraffin is an odorless, very fine liquid that is usually mixed with all vegetable oils. So try to consume as minimum as possible these oily foods. In most of the oil food, this paraffin is there. They mix the petroleum byproduct and sell, because you cannot sell the oil at price of 100 rupees per kilograms. So most of this synthesized ready drug material contains all the byproducts of contaminants. So it has to come to your mind. Try to use fresh food prepared at home. Try to minimize it. Don't eat even the bakery foods also. It is also dangerous. Okay. So I wish you all the best for your better future and better health, and also better health of the earth, because we are living on this earth. So I wish you all the best, and take some action about this Earth Day, the main objectives. Thank you very much.
I invite Assistant Professor Dr. K. Priya to give vote of.
Warm good afternoon to everyone. I take it a great privilege to propose a vote of thanks at this International Mother Earth Day celebration 2024, which is the 55th International Mother Earth Day celebration. And with the theme plastic, planet versus plastics. So now we have heard a very enlightened talk on how best to avoid the plastic pollution by Dr. K. Balakrishna, Professor, Department of Civil Engineering, MIT Manipal. So from the Department of Marine Geology and Mangalore University, I would like to thank Dr. Balakrishna sir for enlightening us with this a wonderful talk. And all our also, I would like to thank our Honorable Vice Chancellor who was present in the morning session, and in his absence I would like to thank him, and it's not only for his presence, also for his support which was given to us. And as Manjunath sir was telling, when he approached the Vice Chancellor, immediately he agreed for this and he consented to attend the function, and he was here by 10:30 or so. So in his absence, I would like to thank Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. P.L. Dharma sir. Also, I would like to thank Chairman, Dr. Manjunath sir, for organizing this program, and his, I think from last 1 month he was just behind this, and he was asking us to do and asking us to collect all the information regarding this, and most of our students, they prepared many of the posters and other things, and so he was just behind this Earth Day celebration, and he wanted it to be happening in the old Senate Hall with a good gathering also. So I congratulate Dr. Manjunath sir for this his also, I'd like to thank our registrar, Dr. Sri Raju Mogavira, KS. So, in his absence, I would like to thank him. Also, he also supported us for conducting this program. So, in his absence, I thank him, sir. And another important thing that is this program was conducted in association with the Alumni Association of the Department of Marine Geology. And yeah, a few of us are the alumni members of the department. And yeah, our president is here, secretary is here, Dr. Nirmala, and myself, the treasurer. So the financial support is from the Alumni Association of the Department of Marine Geology. So I would like to thank the association for this financial support given for this program also. Also, I would like to thank our former professor, Professor Shivanna, who has consented to attend this program, and he was also in time. And thank you, sir. I would also like to thank sister department, the chairman of Department of Geography, Dr. Angadi sir, then chairperson of Environmental Science, Dr. Taravati, and all the students from the sister department, Department of Geography, Department of Environmental Science. I think in the morning even biochemistry students were also there, and bioscience students. So I'd like to thank all of you for attending this program. Also, I would like to express my gratitude to Anand Raj and Ajay Bhatt from the Computer Center, who was live telecasting this entire session. So I'd like to thank them. Also, I would like to thank our team, which was headed by Srimati Yamuna, then Dr. Nirmala, Satyavati, and Namrata for the invocation. And also for the MC, which was done by Ms. Kumuda of our first year MSc, Marine Geology. So thank you. Also, I would like to thank our photographer in his absence, Sri Chandrasekhar, official photographer from the university. I would like to thank him also. Also, I would like to thank our guest faculty, Dr. Jitin Jose, Dr. Praveen, Dr. Arun, Sri Arif Ahmed, Ms. Dr. Harshada, and our research fellow, Abhishek. Our senior students, since our senior students have gone for the project work, only two of them are here, Abhijit and Ritesh. Yeah. So I'd like to thank all our students and also our non-teaching staff, Satyavati, Namrata, and Naveen. So yesterday whole day they were just behind this. And also I would like to thank our team, which was headed by Nirmala, then Kumuda, Rashmi for doing that wonderful rangoli in the entrance portion. The whole day, I think yesterday, since from afternoon they were behind this rangoli until 8:39 they were doing it. So hats off them actually. So I think, yeah. So also I would like to thank our engineering section for providing this facility, the Senate Hall and other the mic system, everything. So I'd like to thank the engineering section also here. Yeah, thank you one and all. I think I have mentioned everyone here. Thank you one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. To conclude, I urge each one of us to take a pledge today. A pledge to be more conscious of our actions, to reduce, reuse, and recycle, and to be the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you. Thank you. To reduce, reuse, and recycle, and to be the change we wish to see in the world. Thank you one and all for being here today. Let's make every day Earth Day. Thank you.